Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've not done already, click the subscribe button and follow me across all my social media platforms. Links are in the description box below. This is your lightweight world rankings, okay? In my opinion, this is the OTC rankings, okay? This is not no official, this is not no box thing. This is based on my opinions, okay, with my board members, me, myself and I, okay? So if you guys have different opinions, let me know in the description box below on who you guys have at number 1, number 2, number 3. You don't have to all do your number 10s, but just maybe your top 5s in the description box below, okay? But without further ado, let's get cracking. In at number 10, we have Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz is coming up a recent loss against David Haney, and based on that loss, how I saw Jojo was, look, he's a tough individual. You know, he can rock an opponent sometimes, but I don't think the power is, you know, amazing for a guy who's always trying to come forward and, you know, take off your head. Also as well, I also believe that he is quite on the slower side. I don't know whether it's a case where he's moving up in weight. He's not 100%, you know, in tune with his body, but for that reason, I have to put Jojo Diaz in at number 10, especially over some of the opponents that are ahead of him, where I think that the opponents slightly ahead of him would pretty much, in my opinion, batter him. For that reason, Jojo Diaz is getting in at number 10. In at number 9, we have Richard Comey. Richard Comey, former world champion, really good fight that he had yesterday against Vasily Lomachenko. And how I see it is this: Richard Comey would batter the living daylights out of Jojo Diaz. Okay, so he's definitely got to be above Jojo, in my opinion. The issue I have with Richard Comey is that against the top level opponents, I have to assess how he's looked. Now, we've had the pleasure of seeing him against Teofimo Lopez and against Vasily Lomachenko, so we can gauge an understanding of how far he is from that level. Okay, against Teofimo Lopez, that was literally a Western. Both guys threw out their guns and one person is going down. Okay, so I can't really put a damper on him because of the Teofimo Lopez performance. It was literally just a case of who landed first. However, with regards to the Vasily Lomachenko performance, I have to take that into huge consideration. Loma schooled the hell out of him to the point where he was toying with him. He literally, in the 7th round, he went up to Richard Comey's team and said, look, like, you guys gonna help him out? All right, cool. I'll just be a little bit more compassionate with him. There was times where Loma could have knocked him out and just chose opted not to, and just started playing games with him. Okay, so based on that and the loss against Teofimo Lopez, albeit it was a flash, you know, loss. Even it was a flash knockdown, but he didn't really recover from the knockdown. Teofimo Lopez cleaned up afterwards, but it's still the same principle. I can't put him anywhere higher than 9th. You know, he's an inspiration to the African community. That's what he's doing for Ghana is amazing as well. So I have to pick him up as well. Give him some the respect that he deserves. Okay, but Richard Comey is in at number 9. In at number 8, we have Jorge Linares, former world title holder in the lightweight division. It's a WBA world title belt, so the validity of it is questionable with regards to the WBA scenario, but he's been in there with some, you know, decent level opponents. Your Anthony Crawlers, your Luke Campbells, who he's beaten as well. He's been in there with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, so we can gauge a full understanding of what level he's at. Okay, Loma, he knocked him down, and against Devin Haney, he really hurt Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney was potentially on the verge of being taken the hell out of it. But Devin's recovered really well, and you know, he managed to just find himself again, and then the rest is history. So for those reasons, I have to put Jorge Linares above your Richard Comeys and above your Jojo Diaz's. In at number 7, we have Ryan Garcia. Ryan has been in the ring with Luke Campbell. Apart from Luke Campbell, I don't think it's been a huge fruitful resume, shall we say. He had a decent amateur record, to be fair. Won gold in a couple of US tournaments, etc. But and he's also beaten the likes of Devin Haney. during the amateur, but this is the pro games. I think, given his age, given his natural strength and ability, he has a couple little skills here and there. I think he would give Linares, Comey, Jojo Diaz one hell of a time. Okay, he'll give them some trouble. If they went to the matchup, and I would favour him to beat all of them. Okay, even though some of them are like Comey is a tough nut to crack, I think he will beat all of them. With Ryan Garcia, I know he's been out the ring for well over a year, so that has to take into account as well. But at the same time, it's due to mental health issues and him sustaining an injury. And I take mental health issues real seriously. I know some of the older generation in the boxing, in the boxing world, mental health to them is like it's irrelevant factor to them. So they're just brushing it all to one side and just say, yeah, but you're not performing, so it don't really matter. Whereas I'm a little bit more compassionate with Ryan Garcia. I give him some leeway with regards to that. An injury sustained, anybody could get an injury, so I can't beat him up with that stick. But next year I need to see Ryan Garcia in some big fights. Okay, it may well very be as soon as he fights some good levels of opponents, he might just be dropped down from 7th to 10th or to 15th or whatever it is. Okay, but I'm just thinking about with the raw talent that I'm seeing him at the moment of time, the ceiling as well, plus a little bit the amateur pedigree and just fantasy matchups against all of these rest of opponents on this list. I have to put him in at number 7. Okay, in at number 6 we have Isaac Cruz. Okay, now Isaac Cruz is an individual. Prior to last weekend, I probably wouldn't have him in my top 6, shall we say. Okay, I would have him much lower, but because of last weekend, wow, oh wow, I have to put him a lot higher, and I have to give him the respect that he deserves. Okay, now Isaac Cruz gave Gervonta Tank Davis a run for his money. The pressure that he put him under, a lot of people are saying that he won that fight potentially on points. If he was to face Ryan Garcia, he'll clean him up. Right now, easily. Linares, clean the floor with him, yeah. The rest of these people on the list, I think he will batter them, okay? Even though he's not been in there with a lot of big names, trust me, when he goes in there with a lot of big names, I won't be surprised if Isaac Cruz, will just go through the list and climb up slowly but surely, okay? Especially if last week, if Isaac Cruz faced against Teofimo Lopez, you know what he would have done to Teo, bro? He would have, it wouldn't have been televised after that. They would have just said to, they would have tried censoring it in any way, shape or form, because it would have been a battering, okay? He's an old school Mexican. Come forward, let's have it right fighter, yeah? Listen, this guy, he's one to watch, Isaac Cruz, okay? Now, I know I'm just putting him there because of eye test and based on just one fight in particular, but sometimes that's all you need, because Gervonta Tank Davis was very high on a lot of people's list. Some people will have him at number 1. So if you do that to Gervonta Tank Davis, yeah, imagine what you do to the rest of the list, okay? That come forward pressure about to lick off your head, bro. Gervonta Tank Davis had to do things that he wasn't doing prior to it, like the footwork, the skill, etc. I can see him working on a couple of things with Floyd, but Isaac Cruz made Gervonta Tank Davis level rise, okay? But even though it was competitive, you could have scored it a draw, Isaac Cruz is definitely one to watch, okay? So in at number 6, we have Isaac Cruz. In at number 5, I have Devin Haney. Devin is a tough person to assess because he's been in the ring with the Linareses of the world or your Jojo Diaz's, and he's always calling out the top names, okay? And look, I have to feel sorry for him at times, and with regards to matchmaking, being in the ring with the top level opposition, but at the same time, he hasn't looked good with the opponents he's actually coming up against. He hasn't looked good against Linares. He didn't really look good against Jojo Diaz, in my opinion. I think I think he could do a lot more. But I'm not really seeing it with Devin Haney. I need to see like what I'm seeing with Devin. I'm seeing like 6s out of 10, 7s out of 10, 6s, 7s all the time. I need to see a 9, bro. I need to see a 10. I need to see something, bro. He's getting in the ring with the right, like with, the opponents he can, but he's not really doing the best he can in the ring with those opponents. I heard him the other day. He was saying that he needed to entertain rather than just doing the masterful work. Bro, do you, man? You don't need to try to be somebody you're not. Yeah, Lomachenko, look at him, bro. He doesn't need to knock people out just to show he's got superpower, bro. He does what he knows best, and making people look stupid, bro, and toying with them. Another reason is because I have to also think, would he beat the guys who I have above him in the top 4? Potentially not. And if he does, he has to be at a 9 or a 10, and I've not seen that from him. So I can't really put him anywhere higher than number 5. Okay, in at number 4. See, this is the top 4 Champions League spots of this thing. In at number 4, we have Gervonta Tank Davis. Some people have Tank Davis in at number 1. I can't put him in at number 1 if he's not been in there with top level opponents. I cannot. He has to be in there with a couple of people who I have on my list for me to even consider him to be higher than number 4. Okay, plus the added factor of the last week's performance against Isaac Cruz, I can't put him anywhere higher than 4th. Even though I think that he'll beat Devin Haney easily, I think that he'll beat Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia, he has that equalizer that I don't know how that would fare against Gervonta Tank Davis, but Isaac Cruz done him a whole lot of damage, and potentially a lot of people had him losing that fight last week. He had good wins against Leo Santa Cruz, etc. And he's also a 2-3 weight world champion. Well, some of them were regular WBA belts. Again, with the Linares situation, the WBA, the validity of some of the belts isn't really there. Okay, but Gervonta Tank Davis has a whole lot of power. I've seen him pulls out 9s or 10s in the ring. So I've seen something from him, at least. Other than Devin Haney, I've not seen a 9 out of 10 probably ever. Based on just how I see him, eye test, etc., I put him in at number 4. In at number 3, okay, hear me out, because this one might be controversial. I have Teofimo Lopez Jr. Lopez is an individual who, prior to last weekend, or the weekend that he lost, I had him in at number 1. I think it was pretty standard. He beat Lomachenko. He had a good resume prior to that with regards to beating Richard Kobe and just other top lightweights in the world. But last week's performance, that just took you down a notch, bro. Yeah, if there's any performance to take you down 2 places, it's this. It was that one. Okay, he should not have been in the ring, but those are variables that his corner team should have controlled prior to getting into the fight. Okay, he was whack. That's just the best way to put it. He was whack. Now, do I think if he wanted to re-energize and regain his himself back together, do I think he would beat George Kambosos in a rematch? Yeah, I think he would. I really do think he would. But those are if, buts, and maybes, and I can only just go off what I'm seeing. That was whack, and that was horrible. Against Lomachenko, he pulled off a great win, but don't forget, that was a very marginal points win. Okay, that was a 7-5 points win where he done really well, but Loma wasn't 100% perfect that day. So Loma takes 2-3 rounds to download the information. That one fight, he took 6 rounds to download that information. By that stage, when Loma wanted to get in the bag, it was too late by that stage. Okay, if they wanted to face against each other again in the next 6 months, who do I think will win? I'm favouring Lomachenko to win that fight. Big man thing. I'm really favouring Lomachenko to win that fight. Okay, so all of those factors combined, he has got good enough power. He has got some good skill set, and he is a good asset to the lightweight division, but he did duck Devin Haney, so well, a lot of people duck Devin Haney, so let's not get into that. But for those reasons that I've mentioned, I have him at number 3. So number 3, Teofimo Lopez Jr. In at number 2. Okay. Some of you lot are going to tell me in the comments below that I am smoking trees. Yeah? And you know what? Explain your reasons why, but I'm giving you my reasons why I'm having it at number 2. In at number 2 for me is George Kambosos Jr. Okay? George pulled off an amazing win against Teofimo Lopez last weekend. Okay? To become one of the very few Australian world champions that's ever lived. Okay, and he's put Australia on the map. I have to big him up for that. There's a lot of people coming out of Australia, male and female fighters coming out of Australia. Okay, and what he did last weekend, immaculate. Okay, but he benefited from the circumstance of Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was rubbish that day. Potentially, he should not have been in the ring. And I also have to factor in, who else have you beat besides Teofimo Lopez? Lee Selby? Lee Selby is a half decent opponent, but like, that doesn't constitute as to why you should be number 1. Just because you had held a bit of silverware doesn't necessarily mean that you would beat the top level opponents. It just means that you are on paper number 1. But this is not on paper. This is an OTC here. Yeah, telling you who I think is going to be number 1. Okay, if he ends up beating Devin Haney, number 1. But I think Devin Haney could potentially beat him as well. Which, after all of that, I have to rank him number 2, because the guy I have at number 1, which you're gonna see in a minute, I can't deny him, bro. I can't deny his skill and talent, okay? But George Kambosos Jr., he is my number 2 lightweight in the world. If you like these sort of rankings, let me know in the description box below, because I might do this with a couple of different weight classes, okay? But my number 1 lightweight in the world is Vasily Lomachenko, bro. Big man ting. This guy, yo. I think Ade was saying last week on the Sunday show, okay, that Ade Oladipo, okay, so search him up, subscribe to his channel, you know the gist, okay, and he was saying Lomachenko is skilled. He's probably the best out of the lot, okay, and I was looking at Ade thinking, fam, Ade, you sure? Like, are you, are you positive on this? Because I can't rank him higher than George Kambosos, etc. But when I saw him against Richard Comey, bruv, and what he was doing to Richard Comey and toying with him, yo, wow. I can't put him lower than number 1 place. I know he hasn't got the belts, and I know he lost against Teofimo Lopez, but all things considered, I think he would beat George Kambosos. George Kambosos, I know he's an undefeated fighter, and I know he won against Teofimo Lopez, and Loma lost against Teofimo Lopez. But would Loma beat Kambosos? Absolutely. Absolutely. And Loma has won the belt, or he's a former 3-weight world champion. He's Olympic resume of 2-time gold medalist, one at the Beijing Olympics and one at the London 2012 Olympics. He's had almost 400 amateur fights. Yo, I can't deny his talent. What I saw yesterday was like maestro. It was masterclass. It was majestic. Oh, like if I'm watching him, I'm just thinking Beethoven, flipping Mozart, you know that gist, yeah? Some classic FM vibes, yeah, with regards to Lomachenko. He is like the Matrix, bro. This guy sees shots like he's Mr. Miyagi, bro. This guy is the guy, yeah? I'm telling you, Loma is the guy. I can't deny his talent. He's off the scales good. Off the scales good. I think against Lopez, I think he just took too long to download the information. That's what it is, okay? The data center were working in full effect. But what he's done against Nakatani and against Comey, he got a new hard drive. You know, he sacked the workers working the data center. He managed to find out who was trying to hack into the mainframe, and he got the ship running smoothly. Okay, downloading in full effect. Yeah, Windows XP. Oh, bro, this guy is quality, bro. He is quality. Yeah, he is my #1 lightweight in the country. In the whole world. In my hands. Listen. Let me know who you guys have as your rankings, maybe top 5 or something along those lines, in the description box below. Let me know what you agree with me, what you disagree with me. I like to hear from you guys as well. Subscribe to Off the Canvas Boxing. Peace, love, and prosperity. I'm going to see you guys in a bit. Peace.